Bada bang, bada boom, bada bam.
My boy,
What it do, my boy?
what's going on? What's going on?
Can't call it, you know what I'm saying? I need to shave, you know what I'm saying? Can't
Me
call
too,
it.
boy. You know,
Man,
boy.
what? Shit, you know what I'm saying?
Hey, man, it's the football season, man. We in camp mode. You know what I mean? We in camp mode. We ain't shaving. We ain't doing none of that.
None of that. I already let the wife know it's football every week until the end of the Super Bowl. Every week, we back. We made it.
She says,
We made
so
it.
what that means? So the rest of these Saturdays and weekends, you mean you're going to be sitting at home watching TV? Yes.
She just rolled her eyes and walked away. I
That's
said,
exactly what it means.
all the housewives and all that time I've been putting in watching these women argue over each other. Oh, I deposited some mean bank time. You hear me? I sat back and was, she did what? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Football season, we here.
Thursday,
cash in.
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And Monday.
And Monday.
It's back.
And if you're an ACC fan, y'all might play on Tuesday or Wednesday. So
we might ACC, is it still an ACC?
For right now. For right now, it's looking rough for them boys, but we're gonna get to that later. How was your week, man?
Man, it's been blessed, man. Been good. Kids went back to school, you know what I mean? Everybody up out of here. You know what I mean? The house feels so different at 9 o'clock and everybody's gone. The wife is downstairs working. I'm just sitting upstairs by myself, bro. Me and the dog, just chilling.
Man.
You know? Yeah. Man. Almost, back to the good life, man. So, you know, I'm up at 5:45, 6 o'clock in the morning, but
I don't miss it. I don't miss it. Yeah, mine don't go back to school till next week. So we got a few more days.
Okay.
A few more days. So we're going, today's the day we're going school shopping.
Oh, man.
Whew. Boy, that supply list get longer and longer, my boy. I said at this point, are y'all buying anything? I'm buying dry erasers, soap, pencils, pens, markers. I'm like, my kids don't need 50 pencils, 50 pens, 50 boxes of tissue. Who is this for?
Everybody.
So yeah, man, that's my life for the day, man. I'm supposed to go to batting cage, but I guess I will be at Walmart.
Hey, that's crazy you say that. Somebody invited me to go to a batting cage today. I hear Riverdale.
Yeah, man, I'm supposed to go. You know, we're playing softball this year, man. Football, you know what I'm saying? It's time to retire, hang up the cleats. So we picking up the bat, baby.
Nothing wrong with that.
I'm
gonna find
you know it.
And nothing wrong with that.
You know it. All right, man. So shit, let's get into it, man. Talk about somebody getting their ass beat. Good God Almighty. I mean, this picture just shows how bad it was. I mean, you see his face. I mean,
yeah, man.
God, Lee. That was disgusting, dog.
Listen, brother.
It was disgusting.
I ain't seen a beat down like that in a long time, bro. Like, he got beat. And it wasn't like, no, like, I'm going to just go ahead and knock you out. Like, bro punished him for 9 straight rounds. Like, I'm going to hit you, and I'm going to stop. I'm going to hit you a little bit more, then I'm going to stop.
Stop.
I'm going to hit you a little bit more, then I'm going to stop. First round, it looked real promising. I thought Earl actually had a chance. But that didn't last long. I mean, bro, after the middle of the second round, that was it, bro. It just looked nasty, bro. I really felt bad. I thought his corner should have threw in the towel, to be honest with you. I felt like them folks let him down. I felt like them folks, they didn't even love Earl like that. They even sit there and let him take that punishment. That's crazy.
Now, do you think about, somebody said his cognitive awareness from his car crash and how he wasn't the same. Do you think he went through the testing to get approved, or they just, no concussion, so go for it?
As a boxer and you're in that environment, your insurance company had to have you go through the proper channel, bro. You can't go into, this ain't basketball or baseball or even football where you could possibly not even be involved in the play. You know what I mean? This is boxing. Right. One-on-one combat, me versus you, mano versus mano. You're going to get hit in the head. Bro, if he had any type of neurological anything going on, he definitely should have not been in that ring. And I hope that wasn't the case. I mean, just for your own sake and your own mental, I hope you would go through the proper channels of making sure your brain is in proper function before you get into this ring with another person who's really trying to knock you out, bro. This is like this boxing. They're trying to knock you out purposely. So I always tell people you can't play boxing. So either
hey man,
you can play basketball, me and KB can play football, we can play baseball. We can't play boxing. Somebody gonna get hurt.
That's the one sport, man, to where there's one-on-one. It don't matter. You don't got no team to blame it on. Nobody missed shot, missed pass. Somebody ain't prepared. It's you and the other man, one-on-one. And it was bad, boy. I ain't seen a squabble like that. That's one of them things to where you see somebody fight, you like, oh, it's a good one. And then somebody start losing, you like, I don't know, man. Somebody should stop this thing.
Bro, that's how I felt.
Like,
I didn't want it to stop because I'm a boxing enthusiast. Listen, that one-on-one combat stuff, bro, with everything you said about just being mano a mano, just you versus them. That's why I love wrestling in high school, bro. There's no team. I can't tag nobody. I can't help nobody get me help. There's no help I can get from anybody, basically, bro. It's just me versus you. So to have that kind of mentality, bro, you got to be a little throwed off. And yeah, bro, that was beat down. Yeah, that was a beat down of epic proportion. I hope he don't want a rematch.
He said I'll see you in December, but I don't know, man. They're supposed to fight before the end of the year if that's like the terms of the contract. Like a rematch would be in December.
I don't think nobody want no smoke with Bud. I don't think Charlo want no smoke at this point. He said he gonna beat both of them up. So when your man tell you he gonna beat both of you and your brother up, now that's bad. He a bad man. I'm telling you that. I know, brother. You normally you fight one, you gotta fight both. He already know he want to fight both.
Now I saw him. He said he ain't fighting Canelo, so don't even
I
bring it
do
up.
that either.
Canelo will break him down, dog.
Watch what Canelo do to this other Charlo. It's gonna be crazy.
Canelo was probably one of my favorite boxers. Even when he fought Floyd, I was
Me too. I actually thought he was the one that was gonna touch Floyd. I really did.
I knew he wasn't gonna beat Floyd because he wasn't boxing.
I ain't say beat him. I said touch him. I said because Floyd wasn't touched. I ain't never say beat Floyd. He definitely ain't have the skills to beat Floyd, but I thought he could at least touch him. And but Floyd made that man look like he was a regular amateur fighter, bro. It's just Floyd.
Yeah, man. That's. I was like, oh, he
put that picture up here one more time, KB. Put that picture up here one more time. Let me see that one more time. Good dynamite. Look at, bro. Listen here.
First of all, I'm gonna tell you why he lost. First of all, now my man Bud is using them 1982 gloves. He got.
Y'all keep talking about these gloves. Bro, I heard so many people complain about gloves and say something about gloves in the last.
Them gloves is ugly. Listen. And then my man ain't shaved, nor did he brush his hair. Nope. He was like, came in ready to go. He said, I don't care about none of that. Guaranteed he ain't brush his teeth. Guaranteed he ain't brush his teeth that day. 100%. 100% he ain't brush his teeth. Guaranteed.
You can look at the difference in the black Air Force Ones when they were standing up there on stage and could have told who won. But when you looked at like somebody zoomed in, yeah, exactly. Bud had used ones. Spence had brand new Air Force Ones. You should have known what was gonna happen.
Hell yeah, boy. But hey, look. So last week we had Florida State. We had Florida State people up here, and I really wish they were still up here because I would love to talk about how bad they looking right now as far as this realignment. But this
ain't they fault, man. $300 million to get out of the conference is a lot of money.
Hey man, all I say is learn your Arabic, you know what I'm saying, and get ready for the guitar across the chest with the little number in the corner. They said they're gonna be the first ones. The United Israelites right across the chest. But yeah, man. So we got a Miami fan here. Local guy, he's been on the show a few times. He's, I guess, sparred a little bit, nothing too crazy. We know how Miami fans get, but we got to give them their time to get their stuff off, man. So we got Tony in the building. What's up, my boy?
What's that?
TP, what going on, my boy?
He put on the orange and green of the Miami Ibis.
Boy, I got the Fred Hurricane. I ain't never seen that.
Hey, look, I said I'm not just calling y'all the Hurricanes till y'all win some. Y'all the Miami Ibis moving forward. All right, man. So we got Tony here, man. Miami expert, you know what I'm saying? But tell us,
Miami insider.
Insider, you know what I'm saying? he got the sauces, you know what I'm saying? No. So look, I know where Florida's doing. Steve knows what Georgia's doing right now. So tell us, man, what's going on right now in Coral Gables that's getting Miami, that's got y'all all excited to get y'all ready for the new season?
It's a big year for Miami. Basically, we of course we had a pretty bad first year with Mario Cristobal, and for the most part we had an injury riddled season as far as and some key parts as far as offensive line, things like that. What Mario liked to do and how Manny built the team was completely polar opposites, and it just didn't fit pretty much. So we flipped the team around all the way. We got a whole bunch of new faces, new OC, new DC, and we got some talented players in. So I think we'll have we definitely should be better than 5-7, but we'll be a better team definitely.
Now I have a question as far as your like you say you flipped the thing. Florida was in a similar situation as far as flipping the room, like whole program players. Who do you think is, some players that's going to help turn that program around for you guys?
We got, Mario, of course, Mario brought in a good recruiting class. So of course we got some talented players. Offensive line is definitely way better. We got Cohen from Alabama, left tackle Matt Lee, the center. And then we got Francis Pancake Huncho. So we got some, and a few of them that we had that was previously on Miami, the previous year that was all right, that was injured and coming back. So the O-line is healthy now, and healthy and experienced. So but the players that we got, Cam Kitchen, All-American safety on the defense.
That y'all do.
We got we got a lot. Our freshman, Ruben Bain, they say he looking good on the D-line. We got so many transfers, man. We got so many people that came in, so it's hard to say who's going to step up and be that. But as far as talent and names and what they like, Tyler Harrell that came from Alabama, the speedster receiver. So we got a lot of players, basically. Like I said, we maybe got 35, 40 new players on the team.
Oh wow! I ain't know that many.
Yeah. Now James Williams, right? Safety. He's going to be playing some linebacker, right? Now I made a joke how you going to have the best safety room when your safety play linebacker, and the Miami fans came at me, boy. They came at me like, you know what I'm saying? I just cussed them out, but it's a legit question. If you have a top rated safety, why put him in the box? Like,
well,
what are you hearing?
All right, so that's a funny joke, but I get it. So James Williams, 5-star safety coming out of high school.
Huge,
right?
Huge guy.
So he played right alongside Cam Kitchens, who was a 4-star safety coming out of high school. He might have been the number 20 safety in the class. James Williams might have been number 1 or like 2 or 3 or something like that. But they both came in, and Cam Kitchens was the All-American, but James Williams always had a linebacker body. So he was adamant about playing safety, but everybody wanted him to play linebacker basically. So now at this point, even though he was hurt last year, so James Williams is pretty good now, but he played hurt all last year, most part of last year, and that's why people looking at him like, when you play hurt is admirable, but at the same time they still gonna judge you for not looking as good as you should. So that's what it is. Right. So that's what it is with James Williams. So the defensive scheme is like, you need to show your versatility and play some linebacker too, basically. So that's what that is.
Okay. Now, I think if he was now, I'm not going to speak as an expert of the ACC and matchups because I don't know as much as I do
You
about the
barely in the
SEC.
SEC over there.
We in here. We ain't going nowhere. You see what I'm saying? Shout out to the logo. But
it might
as
trade,
far as
Right?
it might trade UF Vanderbilt for Florida State and Miami. We'll see.
boy, we're gonna get y'all can't afford to leave if y'all wanted to. And don't nobody want y'all ass. That's the problem. But
they got all them alumni, got all that money. You better stop.
where that though? But yeah, so with James, I mean, I know as far as like the tight ends, because you know, in the SEC you see tight ends like my man at Georgia, you know what I'm saying? You see they got 4 of them, tight ends who can play wide receiver. Florida's had them. You play against the South Carolina, well, I guess it's at Florida State now, but you know, everybody usually has those tight ends that can play wide receiver. So are y'all expecting him to kind of be able to split out and play that coverage linebacker, or y'all bringing him to be a thumper like in that position?
I like these cow.
You talking about James Williams?
Yeah.
He coming down in the box. Thumper.
All right. Go ahead, Steve. What question you got for the Ibis?
You know, I just look at the 3 Florida schools, and that's how I always grade everybody. You know, even not looking at the conference like KB always looking at. Take the conferences out. Of the 3 Florida schools, and y'all all were kind of at the same point at one point with kind of like a rebuild, going through the coaches, firing coaches. Florida State looks like they're coming out of it first, I guess you would say. I think they still got a lot to prove. Big season for them.
Shit, they on 6-4. They better be coming out of it.
The man had COVID. Yeah,
we all did.
I mean, your coach, there before you had Mullen during COVID.
He was there before COVID too.
You need to stop this, KB. Now I told you now. You need to stop.
He said we all did.
Anyway, moving on. So, out of all the teams that are coming out of that in Florida, would you say you guys are in front of Miami or even FSU? Would you guys say you guys are in front of Florida, behind Florida? What would you rank yourself of the 3 big schools as far as the turnaround goes?
Go ahead and get your shit off. Get your shit off if you want.
So if we talking right now, you got to go Florida State, and second I'm gonna say Miami, and third Florida. Because, again, the reason why I say that, you know, it's a person on this panel that likes to act like Florida is so up in the ranks or so much, but you know they won one more game than us, but they lost a top 5 quarterback. So at the end of the day, there's a question mark there. And we had a great recruiting class last year. We brought some good players in transfer portal. So I think we got a lot of talent. I can say that. We definitely have a lot of talent. So I would put us ahead of Florida. But I got to give credit to Florida State for being we'll see this year. But
I'm about to say we still got to see this year. Okay.
Yeah, based off of what they did last year, you can put them ahead for now. They whooped us, but that was last year. So.
True. And now with the ACC adapting the model of 2 best teams, you won't have an East versus West type champion. Who would you give me in your ACC championship game?
We got to beat Clemson. If we got Clemson at home. And so honestly, right now, if I was a big man, I'm an honest person. I'm a Miami fan, but I'm an honest person. The front runners are definitely Clemson and Florida State, right?
I would say so. Yeah. All
right. So with that being said, Miami Florida State is a rivalry game. So if you take last year off, we pretty much, regardless of our records, it's gonna be a tight game. So who knows what happened with that? We got Clemson at home. So that could throw a monkey wrench in things if we take care of everything else the way we're supposed to. Now, North Carolina and Drake May is a good sleeper team too.
They said he's a Heisman front runner right now. Him and Caleb Williams? Well, behind Caleb Williams, of course.
Yeah, he tough. He probably, they North Carolina was 8-2 and they had a bad loss. I think they lost to Georgia Tech or something like that or whatever. But that kind of killed Drake May. Probably the conversation about that. He tough though.
You can't lose to a JV team like Georgia Tech. That ain't happening.
Yeah. So I think they was looking ahead to the because I think that was before Clemson or something like that. So they was looking ahead and they let them beat them.
I got you. Well, we ain't putting Georgia Tech on the show, so we talk about them.
Yeah. I don't even know nobody.
Y'all got to do it. Listen, we got to do it. Y'all got to do a whole show about the city of Atlanta and their disdain for Georgia Tech, which sits right there in the heart of the city, and how they
heart of the city, boy. The heart of that. I mean, like
they should be booming, right? Business should be booming for
right
Georgia
next
Tech.
to Cascade. I mean, you can skate across the street.
Come on, man.
Everything right there, boy. Everything within walking distance.
Over there. The Waffle House over there popping.
I mean, come on, man. It something got to be done. We got it.
But you got to have a 3.8 GPA. You know,
it's a smart school though. It's school. Georgia Tech is school.
Yeah, you ain't going over there.
I always said when Mullen got fired, I said if he went to Georgia Tech, they'd make some noise because he's good with recruiting them. Because it was like it's similar to Florida, and he bringing them 3 as far as like GPA requirement for athletes and stuff like that. It's up there. Like it's not the 2.0. Like you can't have that and still get in the Florida. Like it's stupid. I wish we would drop it to like a 2.0, 2.1 like everybody else. But because we have guys that don't qualify academically almost every year.
Yeah. So
he would have been good there. What player? I asked this question to a couple people, and I don't know if you into recruiting, you know what I'm saying? You talk a little bit, but what player I guess available do you guys what player in this class do you think solidifies your class as far as what's coming from Miami? Because I don't see y'all hitting top 5. Y'all may end up top 10, maybe, but who's a player or two that you're like, yo, we got to get him?
Jeremiah Smith.
And the number 1 kid in the country. He got Miami on his list, don't he? Got Georgia up there too.
We just got. He
doesn't have Georgia on there. 100% positive.
The defensive end?
No,
Jeremiah Smith is a wide receiver.
No, I'm not talking about him. No, I said the defensive end, the number 1 kid in the class.
Colin Simmons, no, he doesn't have y'all. It's LSU.
I don't think it's Colin Simmons. Depends on what list you look at. You know what I mean?
Well, Colin Simmons, he's a 5-star plus from Texas.
Nah, that ain't. See, we ain't even talking about the same kid. Go ahead. I'm talking about somebody else.
Yeah, but I accept it.
It depends on what list you looking at.
I was like,
on 3, 24/7. What's the other one?
Rivals.
Rivals. Yeah, man, it's crazy now.
Crazy.
With recruiting. So.
But yeah, Colin Simmons. Y'all in the running for Colin Simmons. It's LSU, Miami, and Texas. I mean, I think he's LSU or Texas bound, but somebody told me that it's a Miami, Texas thing, and I was like, I'm waiting for that news to drop. He said another Miami fan giving me news that ain't hit yet. But yeah, man, Jeremiah Smith, man, I think everybody wants him. Everybody wants him. I listened to an interview he did about 2 days ago, and he's pretty much locked in with Ohio State. But he had good things to say about each in-state school. You know what I'm saying? He's an in-state kid. But boy, when he talked about Lagway, man, his eyes lit up. And it ain't even like on no junk like that. Like he literally, but he did say, whoever flips him is going to be hard to flip him. But it really depends on the outcome of the season, how guys play in positions. So if Miami has a great year and y'all receiver goes off, he may go there. Same thing with us. Florida State, I just don't see it because they had a good season. They had a wide receiver go off and they still ain't, making no noise. So, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, That's why I started by saying a lot riding on this season, because I think we're gonna get Simmons, Stone, and Jeremiah if we win. I think we're gonna get all of them. If
Hey, quick question though. Do y'all think placement matters where they put these teams?
Absolutely not.
You
Absolutely
crazy?
Not.
You smoking?
I do.
These guys, me too. They put them teams in certain spots. Okay,
they don't. They don't. Majority of the time, the person who creates the edit puts them. They don't put the. They just give the list. The kids give them a list of who's on there, and then the person who does the edit makes the list. Makes the graphic. Like it's not a.
So they don't approve it first.
No, I'm saying they approve, but
okay.
I don't think.
Okay,
I don't think it goes to like, hey, make sure you put Florida State on my left hip because I'm shooting from the, or I put Georgia under my ass because like
no. It's a list. There's an order. That's what I'm saying.
I see a thing.
Then there's an order.
No, I don't think so because I thought that a year or two ago, and the more I saw it, I was just like, yeah, no, it doesn't matter. It really don't.
So give me your top 4 Canes. I might have asked you this before, but give me your top 4 Canes all time. All time.
Ooh,
you got before slap.
Ooh, it's so many. Oh my God, how can you do this? It's so many.
You got before spot.
I need 10. Ray Lewis.
All right.
Ed Reed.
That's 2. I kind of knew them 2. Now where you go,
man.
Ooh, you got Sap.
You
got out. Irvin. You got so what's the Sean Taylor? You got Phillip with the cornerback, Phillips.
Philip Buchanan.
It's so many. Ooh, where you going?
Shout out to all of them being on the same team too. Majority of them.
I almost forgot about Sean.
You can't forget about Sean Phillip, but he was the best cornerback.
I almost forgot about Sean Taylor, but I ain't gonna pick Sean Taylor. I ain't gonna pick Sean Taylor because I got Ed Reed. So Ray Lewis for the linebackers, Ed Reed for the DB safeties, all that.
Gotta go Andre.
I gotta go offense now.
Ooh, yeah, Andre Johnson, a playmaker. Who better?
I'm gonna go Andre Johnson, and I gotta pick.
Old heads are upset.
I gotta
Santana Moss. Santana Moss might have been a little more electrifying, but I'll let you have it. I don't want to school you on your own school.
I know about Santana Moss, but I gotta pick Andre Johnson. I'm gonna go running backs. I'm gonna go Edge and James.
Over Cleveland Portis?
No, these just the ones I like.
No, your personal. Yo, you know what's crazy? The Washington Commanders red thing. They love some Hurricanes, ain't it?
They got Sean Taylor,
Clinton Portis,
yeah.
Santana Moss.
I think it gets to be one of them situations where the coach or the GM falls in love with the system and what's Philadelphia and the Georgia Bulldogs right now.
Yeah.
If a Bulldog is available, they take it. You know what I'm saying? Especially if it's a position of need or depth need. I just feel like it's one of them situations where that team just falls in love with that coach. Wasn't Jimmy Johnson down there in the 90s? So I'm pretty sure Daniel Snyder, you know what I'm saying, and he loved what he had going on down there in practice. So they probably did draft a lot of them. So I can see that. Yeah. I can see that. Ooh. Man, no Warren Sapp.
No Warren Sapp, no Vince Wilford, no Calais Campbell,
Ooh. Sheesh.
What can I do, KB? What can I do, KB? Come on, man.
We know KB. Man.
What can I say?
KB, can you even fill up the whole Mount Rushmore? You probably got but 2.
No Jonathan Vilma, you know.
You got Emmitt Smith and Tebow. That about it, ain't it? I ain't gonna start. I ain't gonna start.
My personal.
My personal. They got 4 players.
Boy, don't make me start having to Google y'all people. Please. Y'all just had one pop the other day down there that got the clink. I forgot who it is. I ain't even put it in the chat because I ain't feel like being negative.
There you go, man. Yeah, y'all boys listen. Y'all drive Marcus crazy, bro. Marcus be cussing. Tony, give me a record this year, man. A realistic outlook for your record for Miami.
I'm looking at around 8 to 9 wins, somewhere around there. And the reason being is because again we had a lot.
What, KB? What, bro? What?
No, I'm not gonna talk.
So look,
Right, go ahead.
about 89 wins. We had a lot go wrong last year, in addition to a lot of injuries. So just that alone, and we was in a lot of close games with a horrible OC and horrible offensive line. We didn't even have.
That's crazy, y'all. That was crazy, y'all doing that now.
Don't
now
do that.
because at the beginning of the year, y'all
don't
were
do
praising
that.
the OC.
No. So listen. So KB, hold up, KB, hold on. Listen, hold
wait, who was the coordinators last year? It was Gaddis and Kevin Steele, correct?
Gaddis was supposed to be that man.
Okay.
Hold up. Let me say. Now, again, we went from Manny Diaz, who had skinny offensive linemen and had a different philosophy than what night and day philosophy with Cristobal. So you brought in Gaddis, who I think is a decent OC, but not for Miami and the personnel that we had. All that Big Ten run pass, we ain't got the personnel for that. We do now, but we didn't last year. So in addition to that mixed match, we also everybody got hurt on the offensive line. In addition to not even having the personnel for that type of that offense. So that was then our quarterbacks got hurt. We were down to our fourth string quarterback, third string quarterback. He was playing hurt. So it was just crazy injuries everywhere, which everybody get injured. I get that. But a combination of, holes in our personnel, a difference in philosophy, new coaches everywhere. It was just a bad combination of everything last year. Which we got to accept that, 5-7. We got to accept that. But so that's why I say from that, I can see 8 to 9 wins.
Okay. Now, so big news, conference realignment. Really is the West Coast, Midwest guys. SEC is quiet this year. Florida State, right? They pretty much threw their flag down and was like, yo, we done with the ACC. They drew the line in the sand. It's done. They weren't picked up as of today. Who knows what'll happen? But Miami, man, Miami's been quiet. And it's a lot of rumblings like Miami, SEC, they think they can go into the SEC.
They want to come whoop y'all every year, bro. They are hell bent on playing Florida every year.
They don't want us in there. Go ahead.
I heard that story though. No, they said that's real. That's true. That Florida kept Florida State and Miami out of the SEC.
Absolutely. Yes. This is the same reason why. This is the same reason why A&M wanted Texas to stay out. It's your in-state school with the same prestige. It's why USC didn't want Oregon to go to the Big Ten. Like, it's a whole geographic thing.
That's getting messy.
USC people are
messy. Yeah.
Pissed. USC people are pissed.
They want to come to South Florida. They want to come to South Florida and tell them athletes, "Hey, you get to play in state and in the SEC." That's what they want.
Right, but that's not happening because y'all just don't qualify on so many levels. But so the partner, it's always been expected that the partnership between Florida State and Miami would be taken together. Like, there's always usually two teams taken. But for Florida State, it's like, I don't care who we go with. We want to go. Where do you see Miami, headed to? Do you think the ACC survives, or do y'all think y'all, break out and make it somewhere?
I do think that Florida State and Miami are partners in it. I think Florida State will go somewhere without it because they got to their boiling point and whatever. But ultimately, it takes two to tango. So the conference a conference will wait. If they can get a Miami with Florida State, I think ideally they want to take two teams at a time versus one. So the Big Ten is probably more likely, I think, than the SEC. But it in the past few days, even that's getting a little sketchy because of what the Big Ten doing or what they've recently done. So I don't know, man. It's tricky right now. It's crazy. If I'm the Pac-12 if I'm the Pac-12, they may need to call the Big 12 and align with them into one conference or something. So just to stay relevant at some point, and it's kind of weird. The geography of the conferences, because
they're not even taking that into account no more, though, Perk, because you got USC.
Yeah,
that don't even count no more, bro.
I see. That's why I say it's crazy because I mean, technically, if everybody, you know what I'm saying, like if everybody came to the table and wanted to realign, they could have strategically done something as opposed to it being a free for all. Because right now, man, it's just crazy, you know.
But at the end of the day, like Prime said, right, it's all about money. It's all about who's going to draw the most. And when it comes to football, SEC football just generates more attention. It just generates more attention for whatever reason, not just the winning and all that stuff, but I don't know if it's the timing, the time that the games come on, all that stuff. Like SEC is just like considered prime time, I guess, in the eyes of the money people. Big Ten, a lot of their games come on, later in the day, but your premier school has always been Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State. They've always had three. Like, and the SEC, no matter how bad Florida's been the last year or two.
Don't you start? Don't say it.
No. Let me finish. No matter how bad Florida's been the last year or two, you can see throughout the decades, you can be like, okay, for a few years, they've been up, down, up, down. Georgia has been consistent. Right now, they're on top. But even before then, they've been 9 wins, 10 wins, 8 wins, 7 wins. But it's always been a team. There's always been a few teams in the SEC that's always been, attention-wise. Like, you've had the Bamas, you've had the LSU's had their time. Florida's had their time. Georgia's having their time. Like, Auburn had their time. And it's just they've always had kind of brought the attention some way, somehow. Like, whether it's somebody, not necessarily everybody riding a coattail, but somebody from the SEC's always had that 2, 3, 4 year run that's always kept the attention. And in a Big Ten, if Ohio State does it that year, or Michigan, do they do it that year? But I think adding the USCs, the Oregons, all that stuff, that's going to make it more interesting.
Definitely.
For sure. But it's also the timing. Like, yes, Ohio State plays USC. Cool. Are they playing at 11 o'clock at night, or are they playing like, what I'm saying? Because people still going to sit up to watch that game.
That's a big game.
Yeah. But sometimes people don't. Like the West Coast schools don't be getting
they're going to watch
viewership,
because they still have those schools ranked. Like you see those schools be ranked still. You still see
they be
USC,
Washington ranked in all them schools, and they be like,
so somebody got to be watching.
You're not watching the number 3 Ohio State play number 5 USC at 11 o'clock.
Now you might watch that one off, but I'm saying like as a whole, like, and I'm talking about that network TV. I'm not talking about fan wise. I'm talking about TV generating. You're not going to have as many people watching that 11 o'clock game on a weekly basis as you will
because you know what? I've had so many people say they couldn't stay up and watch Prime.
But hold on,
I ain't never heard them folks staying up.
They said they will. I said I will too. But boy, when that second quarter hit, you be like, man.
No, you don't watch the game.
As long as your TV on, the rating is going up. It don't matter.
The same way. It's just a time difference. You got the whole West Coast. The West Coast watch their own games, and at the same time, like a 12 o'clock game here is 9 o'clock in the morning over there. That's just like saying they ain't gonna wake up to watch a 9 o'clock game. They are.
That's why I'm not talking about the one-offs. I'm talking about the consistency.
Any game, you still
gonna get the viewership. And it don't matter what the viewership is, they still get 31 mil. So it don't matter 40 mil.
Now I will say, as far as the Big Ten, right? I think the SEC will add 2 more teams next year, and I think the Big Ten will probably add 2 teams, probably 2 more. Because right now they're sitting at 18. The Big Ten. I don't see them going past 20. Yeah, they got 18 teams. Right. That's a lot, bro. That's a whole.
But I mean, you're adding 12 teams to the playoff now, KB.
I mean, yeah, but still,
you'll take the top 4 from each conference. Well, the big 3 conferences.
They already
the ACC and
the conference playoff committee. They already came out and said they have to relook at the layout of the playoffs because of everything. The Pac-12 is pretty much over. But it'll be interesting to see who goes, because the ACC right now is sitting there scratching, man. They're shaking that leg, rocking back and forth, because the Big Ten is offering $50 million a year, and you can't do nothing about it. And they're going after Clemson. That's the thing. They're going after Clemson, and if you lose Clemson, you're going to lose Clemson. It's just, is they going to go to the Big Ten or the SEC? Because both wants them.
I really
then
want
it's like,
them in the SEC.
And then it's like, who's the other team? Because Florida State, they've had the most recent prestige out of the ACC schools, other than Clemson, for football, right?
I'm just trying to think.
Because nobody else has been consistent as far as like football wise, in the ACC outside of Clemson. And then Florida State has recency. You know what I'm saying? They then it's just the 10 wins, so they're looking good. So where the Big Ten potentially will take them, it's the other schools that's like, yo, what's going to happen? The UNCs, the Dukes, the Wake Forest.
But see, they bring basketball money, so you can't just count them
exactly. But that's the thing. It's like, I think the ACC should just absorb the Pac-12, make a few more board seats for them dudes up there, the millionaires that all get their money, and take over, because the only 4 teams left is Stanford, Washington State,
Oregon State,
and some other team that doesn't matter. Cal. So if you bring them and be like, yo, we're gonna be in the ACC basketball wise,
Cal got money.
Shit.
Cal got
right.
money.
But that's what I'm saying. Basketball wise, it's like holy shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's going to be the conference. That's the SEC of basketball. Kind of already.
So the only caveat to what you're saying, I would say, is this. You got to look at it like this, too. You got brands in college football. So you mentioned Florida State, right? Florida State had a good season last year. That is all. Florida State has been trashed for the past 4, 5, 6 years prior to that. But they
won a natty recently.
Hold on, listen. But they're still Florida. That's what I'm going to say. They're still Florida State at the end of the day. Look at Miami is a national college football brand, regardless. They're a brand in a huge market.
Yes, they're a brand.
Hold on, listen. So just like you mentioned USC, right? USC has been trash, with the exception of last year, for years. But guess what? They're still USC. So just how you say SEC is a brand and so forth and so on, you got to think about it like that too. Miami is a brand. It's a college football brand regardless at the end of the day. So I think when you talk conference alignments and things like that, you have to take that into account, not just the recency of their success for a season or two. So like Clemson is not historically a great program, but they have been in recent memory, to the point that now you got to look at them like, okay, Clemson is, they that, or whatever the case is, and it makes sense. So I think those things take into account also.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens with them if Notre Dame decides to go ahead and take the check and join the Big Ten, or if they decide to ride with the SEC. Like, it's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah, and they independent, so they can do it really well.
I would see them joining the ACC out of everything, but they have different values. Like, that's the only reason they ain't joined now, is because the values and all that stuff like that, and what the brand stand for. But it's going to be interesting, man. Like I said, I see each conference taking another 2 for sure. It's just going to be. I don't see the SEC taking Miami and Florida State. The major thing with it being, they're not going that the SEC footprint is Florida. They're not letting that shit go.
You don't have I'm not to stop that no more. That's all I'm saying.
Bro. Why do you hold up? Why do you think that? First of all, when we was trying to interrupt you, the only problem that I had with what you were saying is that you said when you mentioned the SEC, and the first team you said out your mouth was Florida. So
I start with my team.
Yeah, but no, that's not the first thing people think about when they say.
No, I'm not saying that's what people think about. I'm just saying that was just when I'm listing teams. I didn't say that first team people think about is Florida. No, if you say the SEC, the first team people think about is probably
we rewind the tape.
It'd be 100. Yeah, I know what I said. I didn't say that.
It's in that light, like
No, I was listing the teams as far as they of teams that's had times or periods of being on top within the conference.
We just
started with Florida because
why not? 1 year you didn't have a time. Anyway, move on.
But either way, yeah, I mean, I think it's gonna be interesting. But like I said, it's it'll be now if Miami comes out and goes undefeated and goes freaking
they ain't
crazy.
Gotta do all that, KB.
No, I'm just saying if they go absolutely crazy, right, and then they end with another recruiting class good and stuff like that, it may be a thing to where the other schools might be like, I don't care what you say, we bring Miami. You know what I'm saying? Or we bring in Florida State.
I don't think they need a cosigner. Me personally, I don't think Miami would need a cosigner to get in the SEC because again, if I'm Greg Sankey, I can have this triangle: Florida State, Miami every year in my conference. How much money I'm going to generate from that alone? Just that those triangle of a rivalry. I know back in the day you didn't want them there for recruiting purposes, but he thinking about checks. But they
have money go. But they also have their like requirements and all like a bunch of like the small print stuff like that. Nobody cares about watching.
Miami gonna have their own stadium, and they don't. That's one. That's one of the caveats. It'll be. I think there's ways around that though.
If it is, but honestly, I think like I said, because SEC they just did their contract, right? Their negotiation for their rights. What, like a year or two ago?
Again, but they're gonna have to redo it because now you got Texas who had their own TV. They have their own market.
Well, that's the whole thing. I don't think it can be replenished. They're coming in and getting that 30 mil, but the whole point is like you won't get in that at the you know what I'm saying?
That's true. But I'm just saying Texas have their own TV network, their own, very own. They had their own network. They broadcast their own games, their own coverage.
But the money that you're gonna get from joining the SEC is outweighs
much greater. I agree.
Right. So they're not gonna renegotiate with ESPN because
I don't think you have to.
No, that shit.
I think they probably had already worked in expansion in the deal.
Yeah,
sure. That's my point. They'll do what they want because Texas wouldn't win on the field, but they're Texas. They're a big brand. Much like Miami is a brand in a big market. USC and Miami are really very similar. Like
look, I get folks wear hoodies and jackets. I get folks wear hoodies and jackets. But I don't think the brand, the Miami, because I'm put like this, right? Miami doesn't even run their own area. And I'm not talking about recruiting. I'm talking about like when you look at a Texas game, Texas faithful, diehard, them folks shutting shit down. Wherever they go, they're gonna travel, all that stuff. Miami don't do that. I know in y'all heart of hearts, y'all have it in y'all, but y'all don't do it. Y'all don't even show up for your own team.
I'm gonna tell you why. Again,
because it's a drive to the stadium.
No, because we're in Miami. It's a major. Listen, it's a major city, international city. So what I'm saying, you're right to an extent. Texas shows up to games more than Miami does, right? So if you're a commissioner, you look at that, but that doesn't outweigh the market that Miami is in and how you can have that market as a conference.
But if market, you play Madden, right?
Yep.
Now you ever relocated a team?
Nope.
In franchise mode? All right. So they have this thing in franchise mode, right? Where you can relocate your team if your team scores too low.
Mm-hmm.
When you go to the different markets, they're all popular places. They have like Ireland, they have California, they have different cities, super popular, huge areas for all that stuff. But then, right, I'm just correlating. But then there's the market size. They'll say the market size is huge, loyal, but then they like the fan base and all this stuff. How much is it going to be supported?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to bring in a Texas team who I'm guaranteed. I already see what they're doing over there. They're guaranteed to do that plus more over here versus a team like a Miami who they ain't nobody coming. Like, yes, folks on TV put on the jacket, and you know what I'm saying. Like, yes, y'all got rappers and stuff and all that. That's cool, but that shit ain't. But that shit ain't translating to what y'all make a year and what y'all bringing in. Y'all are like 5th or 6th in the ACC as far as revenue generation. Like, that's the type of stuff they're looking at. Like, y'all don't generate revenue on a level that would be enough for them. And you can talk about that one game, sure. I guarantee when Florida plays Miami and Hard Rock, it's gonna be the biggest. It'll be the biggest. It'll be the most packed out.
You have to put that somewhere. You put it in Orlando. You put it somewhere. That's Florida, a neutral site game.
They're not. We already got one. They're not doing that again. That's 2 neutral site games in the season. That's not happening.
It's in Florida. That's technically not a neutral site game.
But still, neutral site games have different rules as far as recruiting.
You can do it home and home. That's fine. Home and home.
Right, and so that's the only reason.
But you
and
throwing Florida State in there too, though.
But the thing with Florida State, I could see Florida State more than I could see Miami.
You're gonna get both, especially if Clemson goes to the Big Ten.
I don't see them bringing both.
You don't want to see it. I know it. You don't want it to happen.
3 years ago, absolutely not. Today,
you don't want it to happen now because Florida State's catching fire. Kids are going to Florida State without even been to the damn campus and shutting down their recruit.
Man, listen, Kate, as if he being a Florida fan, he knows this. He knows this.
He knows it.
I hear what you're saying, and you're right. You're right. Well, only thing I want to argue is the significance of how significant what you're saying is. Miami make money. Don't get it. So first of all, ticket sales is a small portion of the revenue these days when it comes to college, because merchandise sales far outweighs that. The TV money and all that is a whole nother ball game of stratosphere.
But so ain't bringing in none of that.
But when Miami wins, they go to the game. It's Miami. When Miami wins, they go to the. You see that with the Miami Heat. They went to the games late when LeBron and Wade and Bosh and all that was there. That's just the nature of the city. That's just how it goes. But that doesn't discredit it from being a major market.
And maybe that's because it's been so damn long. I can't remember the last time y'all filled up Hard Rock, and that might be it.
They're not finna snatch the Miami Heat from out of Miami because of the low attendance. That's not gonna happen. So I get you. That's
of course
true.
not.
I get you. That's true. But Miami,
when you got 2-3 other options, that's the thing. Because now,
but you really don't though. When you talking brand wise, who you want? UNC. UNC and Duke going together. You can't have one without.
Now,
if I'm
okay, let's see it. Go and see it.
If I'm Sankey, right?
And you damn well. I know damn well you ain't.
No.
Go ahead and say it.
If I'm Sankey, I want Clemson. I want Clemson because all that.
Oh, he don't want
and if I could bring. But if you can get Duke and North Carolina, then yeah, man.
That's 3. You're not bringing in an odd number, KB. You know that.
You could.
Clemson and who else?
And you could bring Virginia Tech. Shit. Virginia Tech, bring them, baby.
Virginia Tech probably said they ain't going without Virginia.
That's what I'm saying.
No, but that's what I heard. Honestly, I've heard that the partner for Florida State to the Big Ten was Virginia Tech. I've been seeing that everywhere, and I'm not talking like on some like fan base.
Virginia Tech leaving.
I don't know why, but I don't know enough to dispute it for whatever reason. I've been seeing that people.
But we don't know. Nobody knows at this point.
But the thing is, I've seen that people initially people assumed that it would be Florida State, Miami go together, but I've been seeing a lot of Virginia Tech and Florida State from. I mean, like everywhere, like a lot of like the analysts.
You don't want no boy to come on over here, man. I get it. I get it.
I mean, I would.
I get it. I don't want Georgia Tech nowhere near.
I told you that he want to keep Florida the only SEC school in Florida.
Of course. But I don't have a saying. I'm just telling you what the reports out there. You know what I'm saying?
They want to keep. They pray that Miami State where they at. They want to pray because they know if it ever catch fire, it's over with. You already, you know.
I'm not tripping too much because y'all can't even buy a class right now, so I can care less. Mario definitely ain't out recruiting Billy without Ruiz.
Early.
Shout out to Life Wallet. I think they had the penny stock right now, so you should go get you some.
It's early. So think about so listen. We had the number 6 class with a 5-7 record or something like that. Let us win. Let us win 8-9 games. We'll see. I'm so happy that you're so happy about your class, because I'm telling you, if we get them three, we're gonna revisit this and see where we at. We're gonna see, but it's gonna take us. Everything is we got a lot.
Who's the 3 you said again? Colin Simmons.
We're in the runners for
Jeremiah
Simmons,
Smith
and David Stone.
David Stone is terrible. That's one of them things to where it's like, oh boy, David Stone.
You think so?
Man, look, you ain't see him getting
IMG Academy 5-star. Terrible.
You ain't seen him getting worked by freshmen and sophomore at all these camps.
Hey, somebody have a bad camp.
Oh no, but he'll be one. I think he'll be one of those guys that's like, there's always that 1 or 2 guys who's like rated high, and then they playing. You be like, where the hell were they getting this at?
He ain't being coached by Jason Taylor yet. Just wait. He ain't been coached by. Then he gonna see Ruben Bain where Ruben Bain do this year. The fact that he gonna get some PT as a true freshman and
coming off the edge. Ooh.
Just wait.
When people brag about true freshmen getting a bunch of time, that's really not a good thing. But
you say that? How you say that? Because Kirby just bragged about it. We talked about Malik starting in safety, and KJ Bolden gonna come on and do the same.
There are exceptions to the rule, though. There
are exceptions to rules, but I think when you're relying on freshmen to be that guy, I'm just saying that's not great.
Gonna be next year? What Langway gonna be next?
I don't think Lagway is the starter, but if he comes in and just outplays that's not good.
But that's what I'm saying.
That's not great that Lagway will come in and beat everybody.
But y'all don't have nobody else. And the dude that y'all got now.
I'm not saying, but no, he's not. But all I'm saying
I'm not saying Ruben Bain is going to be a
that's
starter.
Not great. I understand, but I'm just saying that's not great. That's not great if somebody comes out of high school and is just way better than everybody else. Like
if he go out there and be All-American.
Yes, I mean it happens.
So look, I'm not saying Ruben Bain is going to be a starter and be
everything. Y'all expecting a lot from Bain.
No, he just
y'all are expecting.
Well, actually, our defensive line was the strength of our team last year. We got a lot.
Is he looking good? Is he looking good in the sense of like he's working out well, or he's just beating up on your O line?
Oh, here you go. Are you finna spin it? Yeah, I feel the spin. I feel the spin.
No, I'm saying no, because when you say he's looking really good, I just want to know like
he's working out well, and he's playing very well on the D line. But he's not expected to start, but he's expected to play a decent amount of snaps, basically.
On third and 8, he coming.
So with that idea of him, all that stuff, the excitement, is it excitement? And it's just not a Miami. Like I'm really not picking fun at Miami because I think this about a lot of stuff, spring games and all that stuff. You never want to see one side dominating, right? Because that just means the other side is it's bad. Like it should be like a give and take. Like, I win some, lose some, da da da. That's what I'm saying. Like if he looks good and he's just killing y'all, like
he's looking impressive to be a true freshman, basically coming out of high school last year. But he's not dominating the offensive line. I do. So you're right, and I do look for that when I hear them talking stuff like that. I listen for little stuff like that, and I heard back in the offense was good today, or the defense got the best of us today, so forth and so on. To me, that's what I want to hear, because that means that it's at least it's whether we good or trash, at least we're even, based off of the scrimmages in practice.
All right, now I know we got Miami on here, but Steve, man, tell us some things that you're hearing or seeing out of UGA's camp so far that you're like, wow.
3-peat. That's all you need to hear is 3-peat. Don't worry about nothing else you got going on. We'll see you at the college football playoff, my boy. Because we ain't got nobody on the schedule who probably gonna give us a game anyway. So we'll see you at the college football playoff, bro. Our season start then. I mean, just being honest, I don't expect to be in any close games.
See what happened when
I don't expect to be in any close games. I don't expect y'all to be in the game in the third quarter. I really expect for that game to be over with at halftime. Okay. So I just want to make sure we on the same page. I'm just talking. No, for real though. I can't do that. I'm just y'all know I'm just talking. But
KB, answer the question. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Well, I was finna change the subject because you ain't never answered the question as to why the SEC wouldn't want another Florida team in there. Because that's what you started off with saying.
I could just because of the power that the logo has, as far as the SEC, the badge, being in a major area where you're already sharing marks with 3 other major schools and kind of 4 at this point with UCF. Like it's a lot of big fish in a little pond. Like it's Florida, it's not as
that's a big.
And that's what I'm saying. Like when you look at Florida, I don't know many other states that have 3 national brand schools. Like I mean, when you look at California, like you have USC up here, and you might
Alabama got 2, and they small. We got 2, we're small.
Y'all don't got 2.
Y'all got Georgia 1.5.
Not a national brand. We're not going to do that.
Georgia Tech was. Hey, listen,
they have a robotic.
They have a championship in 1998. They got a national championship in football. It was undetermined, unrecognized because of a lockout season or something like that. But they were national champions in football.
Yeah,
more recently.
But KB, a lot of people don't know. But KB, I agree with you, and I told you that the problem with Florida is too many big schools there. So
that's the problem with all 3. Like when you have a kid,
dominate. Y'all come down there and the players anyway.
Yeah, bro.
Y'all ain't got no room. Y'all ain't got no room. Y'all can't even fit yourself.
The only caveat I see though.
We got 3 big schools, and if you compare it to the other, you might as well count UCF and South Florida. If you want to count it, you would count other schools. It's really 5.
Right, and that's the whole point. Is just because like when you're sitting down, like when Miami hired Mario, I think everybody was like, "Oh shit," because he can recruit. Like as far as what you're thinking, Oregon wise, you're like, "Okay, what he did at Oregon, he's potentially going to do at Miami." That's what Miami's hoping and praying for, that he brings with his success down to there. Then you have the whole, damn, I hope Florida State don't catch on, because you got to deal with that. And thank God they didn't hire Dion, because that would have ended everything for everybody. We all would have been like, the Big Ten ain't looking too bad. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it would have been absolutely nuts. And we don't have to deal with what Georgia doesn't have to deal with what we do. USC doesn't have to deal with what we do. Ohio State, Texas, and even the Texas A&M. That's why Texas A&M didn't want.
You say that say that state-wise, but if you look at distance-wise, for Alabama and Auburn are just as close as you are to Florida, as Miami and Florida State.
You talk to a Bama and Auburn fan, they are not thinking the same.
Clemson right up the street.
But they're not thinking
right up the street.
But it's different. If you had a Clemson, like we have, so take Princely, right? Our defensive end, outside linebacker. He was like, I chose Florida because you guys pick SEC schools because they get to quote unquote play against the best, right?
Of course.
And that gives you a boost. At the end of the day, that gives you a boost with a lot of recruits because they get to play against a Georgia. They get to play against a Bama. They get to play against LSU. So every week is a big ass game, like for the most part. Every week's a big game. Now, and that's a selling point. Now you have kids within the state, but like, man, I want to stay in state. I don't want to go to Florida, but I want to play in the SEC.
Well, now they have options.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So then when you have other schools, you're like, well, shit. If you have a Mario there, I'm like, look, we ain't too far behind. Or if they are Big Ten, you're like, look, you might want to go to SC, but we got the Big Ten. You playing against Penn State, Ohio State, then it's going to entice a kid more. That's why UCF is recruiting way better than they ever have, because now you're on a whole nother platform in the Big 12.
And they can pay you. And they can
right.
Pay you.
Right. So it's just like,
and in addition to what you're saying, like with Georgia, it just y'all are Georgia. There is no other, you know what I'm saying? Alabama is Alabama. Like,
Auburn is still there. You still have Auburn. Auburn has a fan base,
right.
And they have. That's
true. That's true. But imagine if it were just a Florida and Florida State. That's it. No UCF, no Miami.
I guarantee you, they will keep way more recruits in state than they do.
It would be different. Like if Alabama had an Alabama South,
y'all are so disrespectful to Georgia Tech.
But that's why. But even when you look at the times to where all the three schools were like hitting, right? All these schools were like on some shit to where they're all success, they're all doing good, they're all recruiting well. It was a battle to keep, like, other states weren't coming in to get those kids because Florida, the state of Florida was locked down. Them kids either going to Florida State, Miami, or the University of Florida.
So
period.
Greg Sankey looks at that and said, well, they're going to be going to the SEC. So it's a win for him. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, yes, when you went from the looking there, but also it depends. Like, there's more. I think there's more into it than just like, oh, they're going to recruit their battle. There'll be some attention. Like, it's more into the thing, and it's not
the kickoff. Florida versus Florida State, SEC.
It won't change anything. The rivalry still is what it is. Like that, we could both be in the goddamn Mountain West. That
it won't be the same. It won't be SEC money.
But even still, like, while you can look at that one game
and the TV rights, everybody got to watch us. So you, like you said, you don't think you're thinking about just in one aspect of it. But branding wise, bro, if you got the whole world watching Miami and Florida State for the kickoff, the SEC kickoff.
Because I'm trying to think back to last year, because last year this was a major topic. When everybody started realigning and we took in Texas and Oklahoma, it was a real conversation amongst all sports.
And then look at that. Look how we took in Texas and Oklahoma. Those are two totally different programs.
But they were also looking to get the hell. They were looking to get the hell out the Big 12 too. So it's not just that we just was like, we'll just take them. They were ready. They were trying to get the hell.
I'm just saying. Do you not think Florida State, Miami? If you look at Florida State, Miami, and you look at Texas, Oklahoma, it's about the same, bro. When we're talking about brand wise, weight wise, history wise, money wise, size wise, it's about the same. To me, I believe. Me personally, I believe if Greg Sankey knew all this was happening, he probably wouldn't even took Texas and Oklahoma first.
No, he would have. Because them fan bases, bro, that shit is going to generate so much. Just it's in that area. So that's what I'm saying. Like, Florida already have the
but
Florida.
Texas got so many other, like you said, you got Baylor, TCU. TCU went to the college football playoff last year.
Texas runs the state of Texas when it comes to football.
The
University of Texas is it. That and then it's everything else. That's
different with that state.
That's the caveat with Florida, Miami, and Florida State. Like, everything is just like right here. So and like I said, it's a lot of talking points that went to why it wouldn't work as far as all three schools being together, and it was just. Of course, school like the Florida school, Miami and Florida State, because they're like, yo, SEC. Of course, going to SEC is just be huge, but it was like a bunch of talking points as to why they were like, hell no, that shit ain't gonna fly. Because the only reason Texas A&M they let in Texas where it wasn't like a big thing, because it was about to be a big thing. They were like, oh, they might not get approved, but the AD at A&M used to work at Texas doing something, and then like it was like a bunch of tie-ins to where like relationships and shit to where they're like, all right, cool. But you still answer the question, man. About
Just be glad they don't trade teams.
Right, because y'all asses would have been going a long time ago.
Y'all would have been traded out of the SEC.
Why we've had more success overall the last 2 years than y'all have. I'm not talking about beating Florida, beating Georgia. I'm just talking about overall success. You know what I'm saying? But before we wrap up, man, Steve, give us some. We 2 years, okay. So Steve, give us some insights to what's going on in Athens, man. What y'all got?
I mean, it's a quarter. I mean,
who's making noise and surprisingly, like who's making noise surprisingly that you didn't expect or that you guys are excited about this year?
It's just like the usual suspects, though, bro. It's at this point we're looking to see what the seniors are going to do. Brock Bowers, Ladd McConkey, those type of guys. A new offensive coordinator. You got question marks there, but the team is so deep and stacked. You 3 or 4 deep at every position.
I heard the quarterbacks were the quarterbacks weren't looking great.
Just don't turn the ball over. That's all. I don't need you to be dynamic.
I think a lot of people underestimate. I told you how I felt about Stequavius from his first time when he first got the chance. I was like, oh, I don't like this. I was like, I don't like this because you could see it, but
I think until you get to the point where you play against somebody different. Again, you're going against arguably, and I kept telling y'all this. This is probably the best defense Kirby's ever had. They're all young. They're all They see all the guys that went to the NFL, so they all want to be Knicks. This is probably the youngest and most complete defense Kirby has had from front to back, all the way to the back end since his whole 10-year at Georgia. You're not going to score more than 13 or 14.
Who are your I don't say like your go-to guys, but this year, like the guys who are going to make noise in the defense, like you got
one on every level. You got the guy who knocked out the Florida State wide receiver, Bullard, that safety. He a headhunter. He's knocking folks out of games, as you see. You got Malik Starks back there. They call him Tony Starks because he got there like Iron Man flying around, catching everything. You can't get in that pass. The boy like a young Ed Reed. He was a freshman last year with 5 interceptions. So, I mean, I'm just saying, baller. On the second level, you got Pop Johnson, the oldest guy on the team, the leader of the defense. Another Roquan, Nakobe Dean type prospect. And then you got the young dude, Bowles' son. They say Todd Bowles' son he said he's slapping everything that's moving. You got 2 yards and he's in your face at the backfield. So
he's gonna be good. Yo. I hate that he went to y'all, but he is.
You got probably the SEC leading sack getter gonna be Malik Williams coming out the end, the freshman who was dominating the offensive tackle from Ohio State that went 3rd overall in the draft last year. He was eating his lunch. He was eating Paris lunch money. As a freshman, he was eating his lunch. So Paris was a senior.
You saw Mikael Williams?
Yep.
Okay, yeah.
He was eating Paris lunch money during that game. He was holding him, but he was getting a sack. There was no other option. So if he can do that to Paris Johnson, the number 4 overall pick, number 3 overall pick, somewhere in the 5, somewhere. He went the top tackle. If you can do that to the top tackle in the draft. Yeah, well,
Yeah.
If you can do that to the top tackle in the draft.
I'm like, who the fuck was for?
Yeah, right. So
I was like,
oh yeah, I really expect this defense to be like dominant from the first snap of the season to the last snap. And then you still got freshmen who ain't even played. We got guys I be forgetting. Like we got the number 2 cornerback in the draft. I mean, in the recruiting class last year of AJ Harris. I forgot he was even on the team. It's deep, bro. It's deep at every position, like literally every position except running back. That's why today we got to get Frazier. We don't get Frazier, I'm gonna be hot. It means you missed on Haynes, you missed on Frazier. There was another running back we missed on last year too.
The other number 1 guy.
Kirby, your running backs ain't keeping up with everything else. That's kind of like our tradition.
Yeah. Bama going back to running the ball. He said Saban said they were too Bryce-centric last year. AKA we are toting that bitch.
I mean, and then your
ain't got no choice.
Your wide receivers ain't that good.
And your quarterback.
Who is it?
They got 6 quarterbacks, and all of them look.
At least Carson Beck has been establishing himself as the number 1 guy, but is he he's
Looks good.
everything is a 90 miles per hour fastball with Carson Beck, and you can't do that.
Yep,
Are y'all ready?
He'll learn. Tony, what you over there playing?
Oh, it's something played on my end on my accident.
Yeah, look at him, man, over there working. You know what I'm saying?
He working the board.
But yeah, man, that's what's up, man. It's gonna be interesting to see. Does Georgia fall off, or do they keep even?
You see our schedule?
Yeah, we see your schedule every year. That's the
you own it.
I know. I'm looking forward to it.
I'm looking
forward to it.
It's like I mean, it is Georgia. I see Georgia. I hate to say it. I see Georgia pretty much.
Tennessee said they got something for us. We got to go to Neyland Stadium this
year.
year.
We'll see y'all.
We're going to
Miami. I'm just saying. I'll see what happens with Georgia in the playoffs.
We got to go to Neyland. This is the first year that Georgia. But we're not playing in Jacksonville, are we? Are we playing at the Jag Stadium this year? Playing Jack. They redoing the stadium.
We playing. That ain't for another 2 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm a Jags fan, so I'm definitely.
That's 2 years from now is the conversation of where we're gonna play.
Should be a home and home at this point. I mean, it is.
They should, man, but that would be crazy. That would be
it would cripple Jacksonville's economy, from what they said.
And that's terrible because right now
I'm just saying they said that.
Yeah,
they say that weekend brings so much money that it would hurt Jacksonville, the city of Jacksonville.
I don't think it'll hurt them. I think that.
Well, maybe they overselling it.
Love to have that money.
Maybe they overselling it, but I'm just saying
they might be.
They would love to have that money. Don't get it. They would love to have it. I'll say that.
And them folks come in on Thursday night and they don't leave till Monday.
Yeah,
I mean,
you go to the Jazz game right after that. So
I give them that because that got to be, if you think about Jacksonville in the city, an annual event, that got to be. It might be number one, like, you know what I'm saying, as an annual event that you're gonna have every time. I can.
For sure, because folks spending money the whole weekend. Like it ain't a game; it's like the whole hotels, everything.
Right, and I'm gonna tell you why I say that because you got 2 teams coming. That's not a part of the city. Both of them coming, big fan bases. You know what I'm saying? So that's easily. You got 100,000 people that's coming into a city at one time.
So imagine Greg Sankey saying we gonna get Miami fan base and Florida fan base and do that in Orlando.
They're not gonna do that. They're not gonna keep doing all these offside games.
You just don't do it.
No, I mean it's just they're not gonna keep doing it because it's just recruiting wise. It's already one offside that they hate already.
Oh, if we take Georgia and Florida away offside and do home and home, then you can replace it in Jacksonville with Miami and.
Yeah, you can do that.
Now what you got?
Oh, that's fine.
I'd rather Florida Georgia be a home and home. Me personally.
I think all fans do. Whoever the folks are where they bury the bodies and count the cash, they they make those decisions. But yeah, man, it's gonna be interesting to see.
TP, last question for you, man. We can get the last topic, man. AD, they signed AD to the largest contract extension in NBA history. You think that was a good thing to do, man? Take it or leave it, man. You taking AD contract. Oh, KB, hit you that take it or leave it up real quick. Hold on, TP.
It's time for Take It or Leave It with KB and Steveo.
Are you not entertained?
Take it or leave it, Tony. What you going with this contract AD got?
Listen, man, you got to take it. You have no choice but to take it. The reason being is because we got to accept that the landscape of the NBA, every very good player, every top 10, 20, 15 player that signs a contract going forward will be the largest or the richest or whatever the case is because of the TV deal. We all know Jaylen Brown is not the best player in the league, but he got the biggest contract ever because of when he signed it. So you got LeBron for his last couple of years, so you got to sign AD as his running mate. You know what I'm saying, for that big deal. You don't have a choice. Now, is he worth it? You know, but I guess so. I guess you got to say he is because of the market. You got to.
Yeah, buddy.
Sign after AD, that's a top 15 player. You're gonna sign the richest. You more than likely gonna sign the richest of the most money.
I think they said the next person up would be after next season.
Tatum.
Oh yeah, Tatum. He's supposed to get like 30 million more than Jaylen Brown, which will make him the highest. But
right, he's gonna be the highest. They say Steph signed another lifetime deal with Under Armour. How you sign 2 lifetime deals?
He probably didn't. He probably looked at the numbers and was like, "Yeah, y'all gonna have to give me some more," because nobody else is selling Under Armour but him. But kids are really. I went to drop my son off, bro. We looking for shoes. Kids are really not looking for Steph shoes. The basketball players.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
you're
bro,
gonna have to.
Yeah. Under Armour. He is Under Armour. Him and The Rock. Like,
but they actually got. If you look at their athletes,
I was about to say that they got a few.
Tom Brady. Well, he don't retire now, but Tom Brady, they got Steph. They actually got a good.
They had Cam off rip from the beginning. Yeah, I mean, they always had the brand. They had Ray Lewis. You know what I'm saying? Like they've had, but Steph is their Jordan. Like,
Steph is a game. Listen, Steph.
So
one day we're gonna
whatever.
One day when it's all said and done, it's probably in a few years, we're gonna have this conversation about LeBron era or Steph era. We're gonna have this conversation. We ain't gonna have it now, but we'll have this conversation today.
What's Steph at 4? He at 4?
He got the same amount as LeBron. Steph changed
the game. The thing, he definitely changed the game. I think he's changed the game on the
greatest. But it's a conversation now.
Oh no, as far as change the game, nobody's changed the game. I think like Steph has. Steph has everybody shooting threes, pulling up from everybody, like all levels. Everybody does it. But I think when you consider eras, like you think back to when LeBron came in 03. He came in 03, right?
What year Jordan? What was Jordan? He came in the year after Jordan retired. What that was?
LeBron came in 03.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, he came in 03. He's still playing, so 2023.
20 years.
His when you look at his era of all together, and you look at like the times he's played, like he's had and this is where you're going to have to like, you can't just say Steph, and that may cripple, that may hurt his argument, because you have to include the KD. You have to include, like, they had probably one of the greatest group of players together of all time. Like, they're going to be considered like the Celtics. They'll be considered like the bad boy Pistons. It's going to be hard to separate Steph from them.
But LeBron did too. You can't say that.
That's why
LeBron had Chris Bosh and D Wade and they prime.
But you also have to look at, okay, he had
Steph won one without KD.
He did, and LeBron
won without.
He won two. He won before. He won 2 after D Wade.
But he still had top 5. Kyrie was a top 5 point guard.
Listen, that's why I say we go.
He had that 1 year, right? But and also you have to look at the domination.
KB, hold on.
You have to look at the domination of everything. Like, you have to look at the totals. If you're counting rings, then if that's how you count we're
talking era, but I'm just saying within LeBron's era, he won 4 rings. He didn't win without Wade, and then he didn't win without another top 5 player.
Well,
besides him. Kyrie was
nobody,
top 5.
nobody's ever won
them 2 rings. The second 2.
No, he won. No, Kyrie only won 1.
Yeah, he got that 1.
He got 1.
Went back to Cleveland. That was his most impressive. That was
when Kyrie the Cavs were absolute trash. Then LeBron came and they were number 1.
But Kyrie was still Kyrie on the team, though.
But see,
but what I'm saying is,
it's not that simple. It ain't LeBron.
No, it's not gonna. It's not gonna be.
Yeah, I'm just saying it's not gonna be. You can't do LeBron Steph and this is it, because they both had help. And then Steph won
everybody
with the drafted team. LeBron what drafted team did LeBron go to and win?
None.
Nobody. That's what I'm saying. So
that's why I say we're gonna have that a deep dive conversation.
Yeah, we're gonna have to.
We
gotta get the old heads in here too for that one.
Yeah,
they're gonna have their
because the same conversation you have about LeBron and Mike, you'll have to have about, I guess, Steph as well. Steph, I think Steph will be considered. He'll be considered a top 5 player of all time, I think, when he's all said and done. Because not just his shooting, but like he arguably has top 3 handles. Like, you know what I'm saying? When you put that in the conversation, He's the leader of his team now. In the KD years, you can have a debate on who really did what, but he's the face of the franchise. So it's going to be interesting. The thing with LeBron is just that he did that shit day one to day coffin. Like,
what you mean? You talking about like the way he played, like put up
running the team, success to the team. LeBron's brought success every time he's been on a court. Like they say his worst year statistically was his first year with LA. That was his worst statistical year, and he still was like
he was 37 years old.
He was like still like 25, 6 and 7 average.
He was 37 then. So
I think when you sit back and you put everything in the thing, I'm like, damn, he did this from age 18, 17, 18.
Oh yeah, we'll never see
30.
Another one.
That shit is just gonna be nuts. But somebody's gonna come.
Well, they say Wimble gonna do it.
It'll be a big man shooter that can shoot like Steph, run like LeBron,
Victor,
and can stay healthy.
That's who they selling Victor as, right?
Healthy is the biggest portion of it. I guess it just depends on what you value, because I get that LeBron has the Iron Man longevity award. He got that seal over everybody. But I value different things a little bit more than that. So I think it just depends on. So to me, just what you just said that, right? I see great player, 4 rings in 20 years. I see Steph that came in like 06, 08, 07, 08. That was hurt 2 years.
I'm going to say 07.
His first 2 years of his career, and got 4 rings. And not only just the rings, that's just the ring argument, but you got a lot of other stuff too that I see. Steph being a smaller guy and being able to dominate the way that he did, so forth and so on. So it just depends on what you value too when you have a conversation.
Greatest shooter of all time. That man broke Reggie Miller record in damn near half the time. Ray Allen.
Yeah, man, it's going to, like, point wise, if Steph can stay healthy, he might. Shit, he could potentially break the scoring record.
Steph to shatter every record.
Well, listen, believe it or not, Steve, when you was in Albany, I was a huge Steph fan. I was telling people about Steph then at Davidson. I was a huge.
I remember that. I do remember that.
Steph fan, even back then. So I don't be on this now.
The beigeness was just pouring out. Yeah.
So, but they say, I mean, if statistically, Luka is on pace. If he can stay healthy, Luka is on pace to surpass Luka's
first. He ain't got no wins though, man. Luka ain't got no wins like that. He ain't even been in the playoffs and getting no good runs. Like Luka got to get some help now. They been in the playoffs, but they went to the Western Conference.
He got time because they'll be.
That's when they played Kawhi and Paul George. He took him to Game 7 by himself.
And he got time because the same people that value the 6 and 6 also they have people who, arguing that, well, what about the other 14 years? Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, all right, 6 and 6, cool, like Jordan. But then you have people like, well, shit, he was only good 6 years. LeBron dominated for 15 of the 20 because he went to the final, blah, blah, blah. So it's just going to depend on what he does when he gets there. If he goes and he wins 4 out of 4, then they'll be like, oh, well, he did da-da-da-da. So it just depends on, at the end of the day, the measuring stick. But like Kobe said, man, he did an interview. He was like, he's like, it's impossible because each player built, like you had MJ who was built off Dr. J and all them guys, and then Kobe who was built off what Mike did, and LeBron who's built off what Kobe did and Mike did, and that the next player is going to build off. He was like, it's just forever. It's always going to be better at the end of the day. Like, you know what I'm saying?
That's part of sports that people love, bro. You can only be great for so long. Like we watched Tom Brady, and
Father Time is undefeated.
I've been saying Tom Brady.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? People still looking like, damn, is he coming back? Is he coming back? So now is Pat Mahomes the next Tom Brady?
Woo! Another conversation for another day.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
he got to win. He got to win one more.
By the way, speaking of that,
he got two. He got 2.
Yeah,
he got 2.
You got to win one more before you get into that Brady Montana aura. You got to win 4, 3 or 4.
He definitely not gonna catch me a ring. But I mean,
he young, Perk. I don't know.
As long as Andy Reid,
let him roll out 2 more back to back right here.
But as long as Andy Reid can keep it going, them 2, that's all they need.
I think
everybody else can.
I've been watching that. Speaking of that, last night I started watching that quarterback show on Netflix.
That shit good.
I gotta watch it. I gotta watch it.
That joint good, ain't it?
Watch it today.
Hey, big respect to Kirk Cousins, man.
Man, listen, big respect.
Big respect to Kirk Cousins, bro.
I heard KB say that before.
Hey,
Yeah,
man,
I'm
big respect to Kirk Cousins, dog.
Kirk Cousins, whatever. But watching that,
bro, you guys watch that shit. I was like, I respect Kirk Cousins.
Yeah,
as a man, as a football player, absolutely.
Yeah, he tough.
Absolutely.
Mariota, y'all ain't got y'all ain't have yourself nothing with that boy.
Boy, Mariota, that shit looked terrible. But you heard the Hurts was supposed to be on it, but he had turned it down.
Yeah,
and this
Dak
year,
turned it down too. Dak
turned it down.
Rodgers turned it down.
Yeah, a couple of people
turned
it down.
Jalen Hurts with Patrick, that would have been perfect.
That would have been crazy.
Oh, that would have been perfect.
That storyline was perfect. Yeah, man, you gotta sit down, man. All right, man, we gotta get up out of here, man. God damn, we've been talking forever, boy.
Hour and a half with these Kane fans.
Waste of time. All right, man. If anybody's still alive when they watch this, man.
Man, tell them. Give them your info, man. Your production. Give them anything they want to get in touch with you, man. Perk do the videos, photography, weddings. Man, you name it, he got it visual wise.
Appreciate it, man. Do tpmedia.co. That's the website. TP IG. And my Instagram is Tony Perkins with a 1 instead of I.
That's a bit. We out there,
Tony. Shout out to Tony. He's going. I heard he's going to give out a camera to Cody. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate all that. You know what I'm saying? That Sony S7 III is going to be awesome. I appreciate you, man. You know, doing something for the little people. All right, man. Till next time, we out of here.
All right.